Hey folks, welcome to Bare Metal Forge today. Just going to do something kind of quick. I'm going to do a campfire blowpipe, something they would have used years ago. That way you don't get your face in the fire. It's just kind of a short one, and but I already got the piece of pipe in there. Is what we're going to do is we'll draw that one end down to a point. That way you get a force of air. And then the other end, we're going to flare out to a mouthpiece, and then we'll put a handle on it. And on this, you want to use like a smaller hammer, and you want to draw that thing down to as small of a point as you can get, about a 3/8, maybe 3/16. That'll give you your forceful air, and then this end is the one we'll flare out. That way it'll give you like a mouthpiece, and then we'll put like a little handle on it, and also in addition with the handle, it'll be like a ring added into it so you can hang it on something. But with that tubing, that's kind of what you want, is tubing and not pipe. The tubing works a little bit better. For just some reason it just does. But you want to take your time. You get that thing. I got a V-block that I made for my power hammer, and I just set it on top of my anvil, and then I could just tap it and turn it and get that thing drawn down to a point. But take your time. You don't want to crush your pipe, because if you crush that pipe or push it one side, granted you might could fix it, but it's gonna be a pain in the butt. And some of this back in here, you can work when it's cold. That way it'll kind of help smooth it out. Well, when it's cooled off, but not completely. But you see how it's drawing in? And that'll give you your, that will in itself amplify the pressure of your breath when you blow through that thing. And that'll give you a more pinpoint accuracy if you're trying to get a campfire started or trying to use it in a fireplace. But that right there is something around the Victorian era, Civil War era right there. Like I said, all it does is just give you a little bit of distance. You can make the pipe longer. I think that one right there, I'm working with about 20 inches. But that right there will keep your face away from the fire. That way you're not bent down facing the fire, butt in the air. So, but this way you can kind of get down on your knees down there at the fire, and once you get a little some ember started, you can take that pipe and blow, and it'll pinpoint that air, and you can help get your fire going. said, just take your time and you can work it and you can get it pulled down to a point, and that's what you want. And then once we get the tip done, then we'll flip it around and we'll get the mouthpiece done. And then once the mouthpiece is done, then we should be able to get a handle put on it. That way you can either hang it on a belt, hang it up on a tent pole, or hang it on a tree, or if you got your campfire set up, your irons and all that out there, you can hang it up on that too. A lot of that comes from back in the day, was they would never ever let a fire go completely out. Even at night, they would take a couple of embers, bury them in the ash, and then the next day before they'd go to cook or start another fire, they could get that thing out and blow into that fire, and it would get it hotter, because the oxygen from what you're blowing helps produce more heat, and the more heat, then it would catch fire again. That way you wouldn't have to keep using matches, things like that. Like I said, as it gets a little bit colder, you can work this transition up here. And that'll help give it a nice taper. Been out here in the shop last couple of days trying to do a little rearranging and stuff, and then I wound up, I got some 1/4 inch stock, and you can take these copper caps for plumbing, take that thing, draw out this, start off with about 7.5 inches of 1/4 inch square stock. Put your curly Q on it, and I got a jig to do my curls. Put you a twist in it, and got brass rivets. Makes a nice coffee scoop. And like I said, that right there, it'll draw it down, and you get a nice little taper to it. And then some of this area up in here, you can work it while it's cold. And all that does is when you're working it while it's cold, it just kind of helps put that taper in it real nice and smooth. It's a real nice day here. Was able to open the doors on the shop, get a little airflow through. I know it's December, but it's a good 53 degrees outside, but it feels good. Kind of wish it was like this all year long. And that's about all we're going to do with that tip. And what I'll do now is I'll flip it around and then we'll work on the mouthpiece. The piece of tubing that I had some paint on it. And I got one end of it burnt off, and then we'll just get the other end burnt off, and then we'll take the wire brush, scrape it. Because what we'll do is we'll go to the horn of the anvil, and we'll take that thing and put that tube on it and work it. And that is what that'll do, is that'll flare that end out. Get that paint off of there. My wire brushes, I wound up getting those, just get these at Harbor Freight. And I had some oak, and I just made an oak handle, screwed it onto it, and then that way if I go get more, I could just take the handle off of this one and screw it onto the new one. Alright, take that thing to the horn. We'll get that on there. And twist it, we'll start flaring it out and make the mouthpiece. And you don't want to lose your heat on this, especially on the mouthpiece end or even the tapered end. If you try to work that too cold, that metal will split and then your project is ruined. So you want to try to keep as much heat in either one of those tips, those ends. That way you're not splitting your metal and then you're not wasting your project. So just remember, on that pipe or the tubing, just Just take your time with it. See what I'm saying? You can get a nice little flare on it. I know the camera's not trying to pick it up, but you can get a little decent flare on that thing, and then that'll give you your mouthpiece. And then as far as the handle goes, what I'll do is I'll take my fullering device, my fullering jig, and I'll put it in here, and I'll fuller a small ring around it. That way when I take the round stock, I can make a ring, and then that round stock will fit in there, and then that'll create your handle. And it'll also create a hanging point, that way you can hang it up like I was talking before. And always check it, make sure you got everything straight. And this is my shop cat, Socks. He usually comes out there and hangs out with me. Shop cat. And depending on the size of the pipe, I know this is a little bit smaller pipe. This is about a 1/2 inch inside diameter. And depending on the size of the pipe or tubing that you use, you can flare that mouthpiece out a lot more if you want, or you can make a separate piece that will slide onto here, and you can make the handle out of that. And when you do that, when you do the extra handle that can slide onto the outside, you can braze that. Because that tubing is going to be so thin, it's going to be hard to forge weld that together. So the best thing to do is you can take a piece of flat stock, get your shape, drift it, slide it on there, make sure it's a tight fit, slide it on there, and then you can braze it once you're done with that, and that'll give you a little bit extra metal for a mouthpiece, and you got a handle to hold it with. And a lot of times, if you can find an old bent or broke tire iron, those right there make real good drift pieces. Not really a drift piece, but like if you're trying to flare something out, like a piece of pipe or tubing, those work really good. Set it on the anvil and you can drive it down on it and it'll give you a nice flare. Especially if you got a piece that fits that, it'll help keep your pipe from collapsing. And then if for some reason your pipe does collapse a little bit, just take your drift and sit it down in there, and then that should be able to fix it. One of my hammers that I got here, all it is an old rock hammer that I cut the chisel part off of it and just made like a smaller forging hammer out of it. That way I could do a little bit more detailed work on some of the stuff that I do. And of course then I drop the hammer. Don't want to work it too cold, so I'm going to get that side back in the fire. And most of my punches or drifts, I keep a bucket of sand. That way when I get done with them, instead of just throwing them in the water, I can just put them back in the sand. That right there will finish up the mouthpiece. I'm sorry, my light went out. But that'll finish up the mouthpiece, and then what we'll do is we'll come back here with my little fuller jig and put a fuller in it, and then that'll make a space. Make a space for the handle that I'll make for it. And what I'll do is I'll take this little I can't even remember my measurements. About a 1/4 inch stock, round stock, and that's what we'll make the handle out of. What we'll do is we'll get that thing bent up, make a ring out of it. Just once the ring is done, Then we'll take it, put it around that where we've made the little indentation around it, and then we'll just twist it, and that'll keep it tight on the end of it. Very light taps on the fuller and jig. That way you can make that little fuller in there and not collapse your pipe. And also with that fuller and jig, if you'll watch that thing, you can see when you got a high spot, it'll raise up a little bit. But if everything's even, it'll stay the same height. That's one good thing about having something like this, and I can adjust it for whatever size material I got. But most of the material that I've got right now is not very big, so and I just keep it adjusted down low enough for it. Should be about it for getting that little fuller done in here. See how it rides up a little bit right there? That means you got a high spot. So if you rotate it around, you can see where your high spots are. That right there is going to do it. You see right here, we got our little fuller in there, and then that'll give us a place we can put our handle. So I'll set this to the side, let that part cool. Get this brushed. I'll set it over here where it can cool. this is what I'll do is I'll taper one end, because what I want to do is kind of wrap it around. What we'll do is we'll take that piece of 1/4 inch round stock, wrap it around here and twist it. And before I do that, is what I'll do is I'll take that thing, take one end and make a loop with it, and then turn it sideways once we get it done. That way you can hang it on the wall. But that's what we're looking at. You got the pieces flared out. So that right there is your basic part of the your campfire pipe, your fire pipe. Yeah, the ballast is going bad in my light up here. I mean, the light's been here since 1986, so it's about due for a change. What I'll do is I'll just take this thing and I'll make me a little loop with it. Curl it over. Of course, this round stock, my tongs don't want to hold it too well. I need to make a smaller set for doing the round stock. As far as the square stock goes, it'll hold it. But this is all it is I got a jig that I can clamp in my vise, piece of pipe welded to a piece of flat stock, and then welded to a square piece with a little pin, and that way I can do my wraps. I've got 4 different sizes that I can use. Take it and cool that curly Q off, my little rat tail. And that little jig that I just showed you, that's what you get. Make sure everything's straight with it. Give it a little bit of flat. That's the only thing I hate about these tongs is I need to make some smaller ones to handle that round stock. The square stock it works really good for. That looks a lot better. Now what we'll do is I'll cool that end off. Then what we'll do is we'll take it and heat this other end, this other side up. And like I said, I want to flatten it just a little bit. Flatten it just a little bit. Then is what we'll do is we'll take it and wrap it around our pipe. And once we wrap it around the pipe, then is what we'll do is we'll take it and I'll take that thing and twist it around itself. So that'll give it a little bit of a hang, and that's what it'll look like kind of once it's done. Sorry about that. Sometimes my support for the front of my forge stick, so I got to hammer it out a little bit sometimes. And I really do apologize for these long videos. Like I said in a previous video, I don't have a laptop or a computer that I can edit these things on, and I'm doing everything off of my phone. The laptop that I had didn't have enough space in it for me to do any kind of editing or saved videos from the camera that my wife got me for my birthday. So just be patient with my videos, and like I said, if y'all like them, please like and subscribe. That would greatly help me out, and give me some comments. That way I can try to change content or improve the videos somehow. But I mean, just let me know. All right, that right there is what I'm talking about. Hopefully you can see it. I got it wrapped around, wrapped here. Is what we'll do is we'll cut that, and then that right there will give you your hanger, and also a handle to hold it when you're blowing into the fire to get it started. But that right there is that's for today. I'll get that cut off, and then I'll show it to you again right quick before we end the video. Alright, that right there will do it for today. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I'm sorry if it was so long, but like I said, I don't have any way of editing videos right now. But that's going to be your campfire blowpipe, and with hanger handle. So once I get it cooled off, then all I got to do is take it and then get a finish on it. It should be done. But like I said, I hope y'all enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe and help my channel out, and it would really greatly be appreciated. Thank you, and God bless.